This is Matthew Stockford. He's 29 and lives in London.
When I was 17 years old, I was skiing. I'd been skiing quite competitively for the country. Had a bad crash and ended up breaking my back. Just had a bad fall, landed awkwardly, and ended up in a wheelchair.
This is Valentin Dikul, a circus strongman in Moscow. One day Stockford and Dikul met, and this meeting changed Matthew's life. In spite of a disastrous accident, which would have ended the active life of many people, Matthew has achieved a great deal. He's an executive at a large international property services company, and he's also done the near impossible. He went back to the mountains and became a world downhill champion, winning 3 golds and other awards in the Paralympics and other international competitions. But for Matthew, it's not enough. He wants to walk again. He believes that only one person can help him, the man who bent this 50p coin in his bare hands. When Matthew went to Russia, he headed straight for the Moscow State Circus. Valentin Dikul rehearses for 3 hours every day. He's about to turn 50 and is preparing for the 21st season of performing his number, Pyramid. Riding the bicycles in the air are his wife Ludmila and his daughter Anna. Today, most Russians know what happened to Dikul in his youth. He too had a terrible accident that put him in a wheelchair. But somehow he got back onto his feet and into the circus again. Matthew wants to learn his secret.
I couldn't believe how strong Dikul is. I'm pretty strong and can beat most people at arm wrestles and whatever, and I can lift fair weights in my gym, but I could not even pick up the weights he was doing. And he was throwing these weights around as if they were nothing. He was throwing me around at times like I was nothing. Phenomenal. I mean, I've never seen a guy as strong as that. If someone said they know a person who can throw a 45-kilogram ball in the air and catch it on the back of his neck, would you believe them? And also, they know a man who can bend a 50p in his hands, bare hands, into a U shape. Would you believe them?
Don't think so.
Maybe with both.
I think he must be a bit tougher than you.
Here you go.
Oh, no, we can't. Just kind of roll it round here.
No.
Shall we be back? When I first heard about Dikul, I was very, very sceptical. I thought, yes, a Russian trapeze artist who becomes a strongman and then breaks his back, or having broken his back, starts to walk again and becomes a strongman. I thought, yeah, right, it can only happen in Russia, because it sure as hell is not going to happen anywhere else. But, you know, I thought, why not go over and have a look, see what happens, have an open mind about it.
Hundreds of people from all over the world come to Ostankino Park, next to the Russian Television Center in Moscow, where there's one of the world's biggest rehabilitation centers. Matthew is accompanied by his friend Alan, who designed his special skis and helps him with his training. The founder of the centre sometimes helps to direct circus performances right here, when there's no time to go to the circus to do it. That founder is Valentin Dikul. Matthew brought Dikul his x-rays and a pessimistic assessment of his chances of walking again. But Dikul believes that as long as the neck isn't broken, there is hope.
Данный станок я приготовил для вас специально. На нем выполняется около 600 упражнений, разработанных именно специально по системам. И всю конструкцию, как перестраивать его, как ставить и работать по системе, я вам завтра продемонстрирую.
I mean, I am very satisfied, and that's why I'm still doing it. What I've been doing before I started the system, I'd been in a wheelchair for 6-7 years, 6 years probably. Yeah. So it's been a question of undoing the damage that had happened during those 6 years, and hopefully now working on and building on what's happened.
On this first day, Matthew has to stretch every part of his body in preparation for the complex exercises to follow.
Just the fact that I'd been sat down, your muscles tend to get very taut and they wither away a bit, your joints get very tight, and you're just not very flexible and supple. When I broke my back, which was in 1984, I went to a specialised spinal injuries unit, and their aim was to put you in a wheelchair and make you say to you, you're going to be in the wheelchair for the rest of your life. It brainwashes you after a while, because you look at these doctors and think they know what they're talking about, but they don't know everything, and you should appreciate that, and that the body can do some incredible things.
Завтра у тебя очень тяжелый день будет. За завтрашний день мы должны пройти 3 системы. 3-дневного цикла 3 системы. Это будешь ты выжатый как лимон. Пошли. Саша, на меня смотришь.
Besides his pyramid number, Dikul is preparing one more, supporting a car placed on a special mount. Depending on the model of the car he holds, the weight varies from 1.5 to 2 tons.
Нет. Убрали.
Dikul was born in Latvia soon after the end of the Second World War. His father was killed in action. His mother died giving birth to him. Little Value was brought up in an orphanage. Life was difficult and hungry, full of fights for leadership for an extra piece of bread. The travelling circus was his only real joy in life. Value used to run away to spend the entire day there. He decided very early that he must become a circus performer. He was talented and fanatically determined. He quickly mastered the juggling and acrobatics, but finally decided to become a trapeze artist. He was 15 when he performed his first number. These amateur pictures show Valentin Dikul with his partner over 30 years ago. But there was no safety net, and one day the bar onto which Dikul was holding broke. The metal got tired, as they say in the circus. Dikul fell from almost 40 feet to the ground. He broke over 10 bones, including a fracture in his spinal column, which totally paralyzed his legs. The doctor's diagnosis was bleak. Valentin would spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair.
Я все возможное попытался сделать, потому что был молод и не верил, что я не буду ходить. И я начал разрабатывать свою систему реабилитации, потому что я очень хорошо знал анатомию, хорошо знал систему подготовки, так как я был воздушным гимнастом.
In the hospital, he started exercising with a fierce energy. The doctors and the patients all told him not to waste his time and efforts. There was no rehabilitation system available. He realized that he had to do everything for himself. He began experimenting and exercising with weights until exhaustion set in. First in the hospital, where nobody believed he could get any results, then at home, alone.
Ты должен смириться и остаться на том уровне, которым ты вот сейчас есть. То есть это психология всех больных, те, которые действительно не работают. Почему? Потому что в то время не было реабилитации у нас в стране.
Days, weeks, months, years passed. He kept exercising, 5 to 6 hours a day, but he needed money to survive. Leaving hospital still in a wheelchair, he went to the Kaunas Club in Latvia, offering to teach children acrobatics and other circus skills.
Обучал детей и показывал им, что мог, конечно. Это естественно, то, что я не мог, ногами я ничего не мог, то, что мог, даже страховал.
After his sessions with the children were finished, he started exercising by himself. He had to overcome pain, terrible fatigue, and the helplessness of a half-paralyzed man who had to crawl around to change the weights. He became so exhausted that he fell asleep on the mats, too tired to crawl back to his wheelchair. The cleaners who saw him lying on the floor of the gym in the morning were frightened that he was dead and ran for the doctors. Every day, he started all over again. Dikul was developing a unique system which would become the blueprint for his future work. But if Matthew Stockford is to walk again, he will have to show the same total commitment.
Когда поднимает он на ногу, очень будь внимательно, чтобы не было подворота стопы.
It's the second day of Matthew's treatment.
Так, стендап. Давай.
Right.
Поправь коленки. Давай.
Okay.
Да. Хорошо. Ремень. Да, садись, садись. Давай.
Left side.
О, видишь?
Yeah.
О,
И хоп.
о, вот это двигай.
Так, а теперь
Давай,
приводим.
приводим.
И хорошо.
Хорошо.
Very good.
Хорошо.
Так. И хоп. Или даже
Хорошо.
можно больше вес делать.
Теперь отцепим.
Держите.
Садись. Сейчас ты делал отведение. Потом отведение назад.
And then leg back.
Ира, отсюда пустишь блок. Ладно?
Назад когда?
Да, все, вставай.
Okay.
Да. Пристегивай. Переходи.
Без тела
Без
на другую ногу. Так. И хоп.
Браво.
Отлично.
Браво.
That's
И
very
самое главное, чтобы, смотри,
Вперед, давай вперед,
смотри,
вперед.
самое главное, чтобы вот он делал. Вот.
Your bottom just like this.
For Dikul, walking again was not enough. He had to get back to the circus, and he did get back. His new number was acrobatic motorcycling. But for him it was too routine. He dreamed of astonishing the circus world with an unheard-of weightlifting number. When the doctors who knew of his diagnosis learnt that he was not only walking again, but had returned to the circus, they could not believe it. Other wheelchair victims did, and started to come to him for help, though he's very wary about setting himself as an example.
Каждый пациент, каждый больной всегда говорит, что у него травма более сложная. И не надо входить в спор с этим пациентом. Но нужно попытаться его убедить, чтобы он поверил бы в себя, в свои силы, в свои возможности. И таким образом он добьется потрясающих результатов. То есть я считаю, что движение – это жизнь любого больного, любого человека. Это жизнь. То есть в организме существует очень много нераскрытых резервов организма и возможностей. Давайте их покажем, как раскрыть, поможем раскрыть этим больным людям. Бедро втягивай. Слушай, легче хочешь себе подкатить. Очень хорошо. Просто блестяще.
This is Irene Gehrman from Germany. 8 months ago, she was told she would never leave the wheelchair. Today, she's taking her first steps. Dikul has been teaching his system for the last 20 years.
Когда приезжал Валентин на гастроли, то рядом с толпой, которая выстраивалась в кассы, выстраивалась толпа к служебному входу. И все хотели видеть Дикуля. Отказать он не мог никому. Он всегда говорил, что вот если я вижу, что я хоть что-то могу сделать для этого человека, как я могу сказать ему «нет»? И поэтому постепенно жизнь наша превратилась вообще, я не знаю, какой-то непрерывный такой вот поток общения с людьми, больными людьми.
Every day he needs 2 to 3 hours on his own to exercise. And every evening, there's a circus performance. That's why he treated patients in between training sessions and late at night after the performance was over, sometimes in an hotel when on tour, but usually in the circus itself, in his little cramped dressing room. Many patients followed him on tour for months, all over Russia. It's gone on for years. From birth, his daughter Annie has spent her childhood in the circus, and she is determined to have a career of her own there. Now 14, Annie even rehearses in the sitting room at home. There's no escape from the circus. On their last day together, Dikul teaches Matthew to stand up in Valentin's specially designed boots.
Сейчас ты меня обнимешь, как будто очень сильно любишь. Переводишь корпус на левую ногу, втягиваешь левое бедро. Переводишь корпус на правую ногу, втягиваешь правое. Сделай так. Хорошо.
Dikul believes it's possible to make the muscles remember movement and to develop undamaged muscles so they can take over the functions of those that are damaged. The brain has to act in a different way. It's a long, hard road, but Dikul believes he can teach his patients how to walk again, either by themselves or with special equipment, if they have the will.
You have the confidence in him that he will not do something that will hurt or that you're not capable of doing. So there's a trust there. There's an immense will to help you, or you can tell he's wanting to help you, but his charisma is incredible. There's two ways of living. You can either lie in a bed and worry about it, or you can get up and go and do things and have a life and enjoy it and have a will. So after a couple of years, I started skiing again, which was superb just to get back into the mountains. I came over to Moscow and it was quite an enlightening experience, because back at home when you break your back, you're told you'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life, or if not for the rest of your life, until they have some sort of medical cure for it. And in the interim, you're in a wheelchair. Your body that you're not using, the lower half of your body, is it's wasting away almost. You're doing nothing with it. But came over here, and all the exercises that you do, it just gives an extra dimension. It keeps your body in trim. And sure, one day I might be able to walk by using the Dikul system. You've got some superb patients here, and the centre's going really well. Why, at the age of whatever you are, you're an old man, why still the circus and all this hard work?
Ну, ты понимаешь, я без цирка жить не могу. Цирк мне дает это жизнь, энергию, воздух. Цирк для меня это все. Я без него жить не могу. Вот заканчивается спектакль, бывает. Прихожу, я ложусь на манеж. Понимаешь, смотрю в купол. Слезы текут и стихи читаю. Вот цирк, мой единственный друг. Куда бы жизнь не бросила вдруг, к тебе я вернусь, ты родная арена, на твой заколдованный круг. Затем эту энергию я даю людям, больным.
Each weight is 75 kilos, around 165 pounds. The ball weighs 40 kilos, around 90 pounds. The climax to Dikul's act is the pyramid, which only he performs. Bending backwards, he carries 5 people and 2 large weights on his unsupported body. The total weight of the pyramid is around 1,000 kilos, 2,200 pounds. On Matthew's last night in Moscow, they are packing his new equipment. He'll have to work on it for no less than 5 years, with the same determination Dikul has shown, if he is to walk properly. Back in London, Matthew is on his own again. Dikul has shown him what to do, but now only Matthew can do it. Will he be able to keep going day after day after day?
It's hard work, and I was never under any illusion that it was going to be a miracle and that, you know, I'd come back and it had all happened one after each other, and I'm pretty much working out on my own. It will need a lot of discipline and a lot of willpower. Dikul's message is those who believe will work, and those who will work will walk. And I think I'll walk.